The time is here, we've all been waiting throughout the year. Anticipating, we feel the joy of Christmas time flying through the air. Friendly smiles we give to each other, lights that glow in every color. There's so much love we all can share. It must be
there's a magic in the air. Choirs are singing, full of joy and happiness. The stars are bright as we share a winter's night. Here's to Christmas. Kids are smiling, making snowmen in the street. People driving to be home with families. The songs they know playing on the radio. Here's to Christmas. In the window evening, snow is falling down. All the people who are closer gathering round. Will my darling take my hand in a winter wonderland? Here's to Christmas. Fire's burning, there are gifts under the tree. Santa's coming, he'll be here.
DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
DreamHack calls itself the world's largest digital festival. It includes a local area network gathering with live concerts and competitions in digital art and esports. And even sweeter than that is when it's around Christmas time, like it is right this second. We have a gnome. He has taken the place of the trophy, and Lord knows what that gnome has done with it. Unfortunately, we were unable to find it in the break, but what we did find in the meantime were our two grand finalists in both ENCE and Bravado. You wouldn't believe it if I told you it 3 days ago that that was going to be the grand final, but boy, you better believe it now, because it's going to be either easy or it's going to be full of avocados. My name is Trey Sorrenthis, and I will be your pilot through this journey. And of course, to my left will be my co-pilots in both Pimp and Bled. Guys, we're at the grand finals. We have arrived at our destination.
Yes, we have indeed. It's going to be the battle of the memes, avocados versus easy, and of course, one would say the biggest favorite in the tournament against perhaps the biggest underdog in the tournament in the grand finals. It is indeed been a tournament to remember.
I think that's a fair statement to make. I think we see two of the best playing teams here as well. And like sometimes you can talk about a final where one of the teams have had an easy way. You could arguably say that Bravado had a little bit of an easier task. And then again, you know, they didn't because they were beating some of the best teams at this tournament. So, you know, we had the two best playing teams right here. And I think that's what makes me the most excited about this final. That both teams have showcased that they can play Counter-Strike to a very high level.
Well, we've got the best teams and as well the best partners that all make sure that this show runs slow and smooth is fast. I can tell you that right away. It's Astro, it's Corsair, it's Monster Energy, and Hacks GG, the official apparel sponsor of the DreamHack Open Circuit. Guys, man, do we have a banger, I think, because honestly, ENCE is looking good. They looked in form earlier. And then if you think about Bravado, I think that they're just an all-out X mark, right? Like they're an all-out question mark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bravado haven't lost a map at this tournament so far, and frankly, to be fair, I think all of us expected they wouldn't win a map at this tournament.
Yep.
That rightfully so have been changing our mind. I think Bravado has been playing some stellar Counter-Strike. I think they, game by game, they teach us more of what they're made of. So far, they won on, I believe it's Dust 2, twice on Nuke and one time on Inferno, which shows a little bit of depth in the map pool as well. So they can not only, it's not like a one-trick pony, it's not like a big team at a major where they just win Inferno and that's it. These guys have actually been winning different maps and they've been doing it consistently so far in the tournament. So that excites me a lot about this Bravado team. On the other hand, we have ENCE, who we just saw play a phenomenal game against Heroic, so that definitely warmed up for now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Heroic, the way they made their way to the semifinals, you're like, all right, this is a team who potentially might be the favorites as well, but in that best-of-3 series, ENCE just completely stomped them. There's no other way to put it across, right? It was a very convincing win coming out from them. And looking at this fight, like both the teams, like you said, Bravado have looked really good, ENCE have looked really, really good as well, despite having that initial loss early on day one, just the best of one against G2. So, it's kind of exciting, right? It's something you really don't know what you're going to expect here. I don't think these two teams have faced off each other yet. It's going to be, as we've been saying all this while, Trace, it's going to be a barn burner of a game.
It will be that. We're going to take a look at the playoff brackets that got us to this point. In case you're just joining us, you've joined us at a ripe old time, the grand final time. Bravado and ENCE squaring off on what could be 3. But first, they had to work to get here. They had Existence Galaxy in the way. And they had Heroic in the way, Pimp. What do you got in the way, man?
You right now. But apart from that, Existence is the other surprise of the tournament. Yeah. They made their way into the semifinal as well. There was the other, qualified team at the tournament. The other team that we expected not to win any games throughout this one. We expected them to be the big underdog, but rightfully so as well. They made their way into the semifinal and they showcased against Bravado that they still know how to play Counter-Strike. Obviously, they can't be too satisfied about missing this final, but that's just the way it goes. You have two of these underdogs clashing against each other, and you can just, make the conclusion that Bravado were the better team of those two and ENCE were the better of Heroic.
But do you think it could come down to a clash in map pools here? Is that something that could separate these two teams on the stage? I mean, because we are getting really close to what would be the map's advance.
Yeah, the thing here is going to be Nuke, right? Nuke is something which I find very interesting. Bravado are very comfortable on this. This is a map that they play all the time when it comes to, like, in North America. But they show the confidence that, hey, you know what? I don't care who you are. EU team, South African team, doesn't matter. We can take you on that map. Now, the problem is the way ENCE played on Nuke as well. The way ENCE played on Nuke might make Bravado think about it. Like, do we go with Nuke here or not? I think at this juncture, when you're Bravado, in the Grand Finals of DreamHack Open, you just play to your strengths. You've shown that you can play really good on your home ground, so just make it happen. Let's go for a Nuke play over here. ENCE might go for a Train, and I'm expecting Overpass as a decider.
I would expect Dust 2 maybe in that mix as well for one of the teams. I think both ENCE and Bravado have showcased in the tournament that they can play Dust 2 and they both like it. ENCE have played it twice. They did have a loss to G2, but they were leading 11-4, and then I believe they beat Optic quite convincingly on Dust 2 as well. So definitely a map they won't stay away from if they have the opportunity to get it as a third map. Whereas for Bravado, we saw them win against, that was Optic as well, on Dust 2, so they know how to play that map as well. Definitely agree with you though. One thing that puzzles my mind is a little bit that we heard in an interview that Bravado apparently is willing to play 6 maps. They have a deep map pool, which I think is true. The fact that in the first video against Optic, if I remember correctly, they removed Nuke as one of the first bans, which is definitely an interesting move because they are good on Nuke, as you said. They have played Nuke in this tournament and they've looked solid on Nuke, but they just judged, that Nuke is not a map we want to play against Optic, so they can play into that map pool strength and maybe tinkle ENCE just a little bit here.
Tingle or tickle?
Tinkle. I mean, both works, Trace, right?
Both, I mean, they do both have Yeah, whatever, dude. We're not going down that road, but we do have the first two bans. Cash and Mirage are off the table. We will not be seeing that in the grand final.
Yeah, Cash is the ENCE's usual permaban, right? They've just gone for it. They don't really like playing on that map. Then Mirage getting banned by Bravado. It's interesting. I think they can really play that map as well, but they've taken it out. I'm more curious as the picks kind of be coming in. What do you have left on the table? We have Nuke, we have Overpass, we have Train. I really expect to see Train getting picked by ENCE now that it's not been banned. Or might even be seeing an Inferno coming out. I'm not too sure about this.
I think Train will be the obvious pick for ENCE for sure, and I would be surprised if that's not the case. It is Inferno coming out of Bravado, and that's an interesting one as well. Again, I think they're showcasing that they're not afraid of playing different maps. You know, we have seen them play Inferno as well.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, a decent showing. They were playing that in the semifinal against Existence and also winning that one, so they know how to play it.
But it did go to overtime.
It did go to overtime,
yeah.
and it was a little bit scary, but they were the team having the lead in that match, and they were maybe, you know, getting a little bit afraid of winning and getting a little bit too close to the sensation of going into the finals. So there may have been something within that working.
We got sensations, we got tingling, and we got tickling. What else we got, Jacob?
We got Dust 2.
We got Dust 2.
Yeah.
Boom,
Ooh,
nailed it.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Overall, we got Train, Inferno, and Dust 2. That is the digital playground for this here.
I'm a little surprised Bravado went with the final ban. They went with the Nuke ban, because it was right there. I kind of expect both these teams are very comfortable in Nuke, right? So Nuke being the decider, I think would have made things very interesting over there. But the fact they've gone with Dust 2, like I said, they can play that map. They have one on that map. ENCE just seems like slightly the better team in all these three maps. That's a problem here if you're a Bravado fan.
Bravado fans and ENCE fans around the world start to sit back, crack open a cold one, because we did get a chance to hear from both of these teams going into this grand final.
Got a full by any means, and the Warbank's there to North. Grenade to finish it off, and Fady is just locking it down with 3. Sonic's still here. He doesn't want to give this up. He wants overtime, but it might cost him the map.
By game, we compose ourselves every game. We had
into Alu's orb, and that other gun that was picked up. They could try and grab Heaven, but Aerial, hello? That's the bomb drop. No, Aerial's found 3.
We are going in very confident. We are going to play our own game. We know that we are capable of to beat top 10 teams. We know that we can beat them, so we're very confident that we're going to beat them. I think they are afraid of us. Pretty sure. You know, we're not satisfied. We really, really want to win this, and we're probably going to be even stronger in this final. And I think if we can just not see it as a final on stage and just see it as every other game, even in practice back at home, I really think we can win. They are still strong. They have really good individual players, but we just have to play as a team, as a unit. So let the opponent know that it's going to be easy for ENCE. Good luck. I don't really mean it, but good luck. And may the best team win.
Well, we do have Bravado getting set up. They have strapped those seat belts in, and they're looking dashing like Dancer and what are the...
Prancer.
Yeah, Dancer, Prancer. Anyway, whatever, they got that head honcho, Detrony, over there, who is kind of like their Rudolph. He has been leading the charge, at least front-facing to us. He has been kind of telling us more and more about this team each time, and how much that this means to them overall, because understandably, this is the pretty big statement for South African CS.
Yeah, and one thing which I want to point out is JT, right? He took up the reins of being the in-game leader pretty recently comparatively, but he's not just been calling some really, really good Counter-Strike, but also the fact that he's been fragging as well. He's not really slacking in that department. Detrony, the veteran in the side, he's been in the DreamHack winter like 4 years back where they bought him down. Here is in the grand finals. It's a story of redemption for him when it comes to the DreamHack event, so to speak. He's been really good with the op. Elusive has been very elusive in those clutch rounds. He's been great. And then Sonic, the star player. But Fady is a guy I want to point out. This guy had the potential. He's always been inconsistent, so to speak, in many tournaments or online games he's played, but this tournament he has come alive. It's not one player carrying the team, it's the entire team really stepping up to the plate and taking the fight to whoever they faced off against so far.
I definitely agree. It's a team that haven't lost a map at this event so far, and I think that speaks for itself. Definitely a surprise so far, and I think the way they're winning the games, the way they're being proactive with the way they play, it's not a team that is waiting for the opponents to come to them. They're okay with taking the fights and getting to the opponents, and I think that's such a cool thing when you consider it, consider the circumstances. This is, as you said, the first time they're on a stage that is this big. So the fact that they're able to go in here and play with that sort of confidence and play with that proactiveness, I think is super, super cool to see.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess, you ask yourself certain questions when you get to this point, right? You ask yourself about coming to the grand final. You start to ask things like, why is Rudolph so good at answering trivia questions?
Yeah, Trace, that's exactly what I'm thinking right now.
Do you know why, Jacob?
No, why?
Because he knows a lot. All right, yeah, anyway. So, Bravado strapped in. I do like that they have nothing to lose here. They really, yes, they can lose the grand final, but ultimately, they have come in here with that championship mentality like, hey, this is one of those any given Sunday scenarios. We've been doing it all weekend long. Why should we stop now?
But that's the problem, right? When you come in your first game, you're like, I have nothing to lose. We have nothing to lose whatsoever. But now in the grand finals, you do have something to lose in the championship.
Well, you could be losing the championship to our next team, ENCE. That's right, the Finnish esports organization from Finland are setting up right about now, and they're almost ready to go. We did get to hear from Sergey earlier. And, well, not a man of many words, but he did say that Alu has invigorated this roster and has brought them to new heights, and it's showing. It really is showing. These guys are glowing when they get on, when they find that form and that rhythm, and we've seen it numerous times this year so far.
I think it's such a fun team to watch because they are so calm as they are. I think the way they can translate themselves in interviews, the way they appear in public, I think that's exactly the same sort of vibe they give you when they play the game. It's very calm, it's very collective, it's not as fast-paced, it's not as uncontrollable, it's not chaos. It's basically just, they know what they want to do, they have a plan and they're just trying to follow it, and when it doesn't work, they're all right with it. They just move on to the next round and try to proceed with the same plan they tried before. It's one of those scenarios where it makes them unique in a way, because you have so many good teams these days who play a much more loose style of Counter-Strike. Worth to mention is Mousesports, FaZe, those teams, you know, the star player, the star struck teams that have a lot of individual skills, they sometimes opt to go that way because that makes sense for them. Whereas ENCE, I do believe they're not obviously a FaZe or a Mousesports, but they have similar skill sets in terms of the players. They can play to that level. They can go up there and individually own the other teams, but they still do it as a team, and I think that makes them unique in many ways, and I think that's also why, as we've talked about, the consistency coming out of ENCE, the fact that they went to Cologne, did well, the fact they went to Star Series, won that event, and the fact that they're en route to win another event right here, that makes them consistently, and that makes them unique, and that makes them a one hell of a scary opponent to face if you're Bravado.
Yeah, not much to add to that, to be very honest. That's the thing about this team. The great thing about this team, like you mentioned, they're like a stone cold killing machine. They're not going to get phased. They're not going to get affected by emotions. They're like, oh, we lost the map. It's okay. We're going to win the next two, right? And like you mentioned, one thing I really enjoy watching about them is even when they're steamrolling an opponent, even when it's like 14-3 in their favor and hunting down a player, you won't see them just running in, trying to get like go for the kills. They'll actually try to make it work, and they still manage to, you know, work as a unit no matter what the scenario is.
Here's a unit for you, Sergey. These numbers are absolutely outrageous, and you might think, wow, why does he have so many more kills? That's because he's played more games. Bravado punched their ticket to the semifinals early on in this tournament, thus alleviating the chance for them to play as many games as Sergey and ENCE have, and that would make sense. But when you look at this, I said absolute unit, and while on the screen, you know, that may be not so much the case, but also in the server, it's very much the case.
Let me paint the picture for you. The best player on the server is 16 years old. He's half your age, Chris. Half your age. Close.
Doing some math. Yeah, close.
Maybe strong side,
Yeah,
right?
not,
But he's by far, I think, the best player on the server. He's phenomenal, and he's been playing a hard start tournament. And can he keep up that level? He may as well be the MVP for the entire thing.
Well, can you keep up the level, Twitch chat? It's going to be !BVD or !ENCE for ENCE. That's right. It could be easy for him, but you got to get your votes in there. That's the only way that we can keep the show rolling here. That's the only way I'll be able to tell you that Bravado are looking lackluster when it comes to the odds.
Look, if there was no context behind this matchup, if you know you're just tuning into DreamHack, but you're like, oh, Bravado ENCE are playing that, those odds kind of make sense. That would make sense. But looking at the way Bravado played so far, I think those odds that don't really represent, or rather paint, a clear picture. I think it would be a little bit more closer, but yes, I do agree. You know, if you're a betting person, ENCE would be the team to put your money on.
Well, how about we do that then? How about we talk about putting our money on teams, even though we don't bet, I don't condone betting, and actually, I don't think it's a great idea. However, I will point at you guys and ask you who you think is going to win. I'm not going first this time. You went first last time?
Yep, it's his turn.
Man, that kind of worked out, didn't it?
Yeah, didn't it? All right. I think ENCE have the better players. I think ENCE have shown more consistency. I think ENCE is a great team. Not only speaking in DreamHack terms, I think ENCE is a team that we need to look out for in 2019. The age of this team, the age of Sergey, he's 16 years old. Lots of space to develop as a player. I think this team is just a very fun and entertaining team to watch, and a team you should look out for. That said, though, I have hopes of going to South Africa sometime in my life, so I'm going to say Bravado's going to win this game.
Oh my! He's done it. He's gone for Bravado. That one was the curveball I was not expecting. And Bled, now I guess you're up to bat.
Yeah. You know what? I'm still going to do my job. And I'm going to say, I'm still going to say it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be as, it's going to be easy for ENCE, but I think ENCE are the better team here, let's be honest about it. Bravado had a great run, they reached a grand final, that's a huge achievement in its own right, but just looking at the maps, looking at the way ENCE have played so far, yes, Bravado, just look at the wins they had, the 2 best-of-1s, close games, wins nonetheless. Then they had the best-of-3 win against Existence Galaxy, who I kind of felt that they overperformed this tournament. But look at the way ENCE have been playing. They've been destroying teams. They did completely dismantle Heroic in that best-of-3 as well. So I'm just going to go with ENCE here. I just don't see Bravado winning this, but I do hope that it's going to be a close affair.
I completely agree that ENCE is the better team. I just think Bravado's going to win.
Yeah, man, that's usually how the predictions go. In fact, I think I need to weigh in now. And coming in at May 20th, 1992. Let me take you guys a little bit of history lesson. There was a man. He was born. Yes, it's right. It took a little bit of time for him in the oven, but he did come out. And now he finds himself centered here on the stage. He is a ripe age and has come to fruition. He is a god amongst men, and it is God Alu and Team ENCE that will be taking this final, and I'm going to say it in a convincing fashion. I think it's 2-0. I believe in the Bravado and South African cause. I believe in all the avocados. Big fan of guacamole, but truth be told, ENCE is just a well-oiled machine right now. Please don't hate me, South Africa. Would love to check out Cape Town sometime. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I feel much better. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, we can go to South Africa together if you want.
Yeah, perhaps. Or we could just go through the Twitch results right now and see what you thought at home, because I swear it's probably going to be a split house, and it's not really. It's actually ENCE. So
makes sense.
You guys got anything to say to the Twitch viewers for that?
No, I mean, it makes sense. When you look at the results, when you look at what happened so far, and when you look at the history of the two teams, obviously ENCE are the favorites. It makes sense. It reflects in the odds, and it reflects in the Twitch guys. That said, though, Bravado have been showing us time and time again that they are a team to be reckoned with. Let's not forget their way to the qualifier here. They were beating some pretty decent teams. Luminosity for once, Rogue as another, E-United, I believe, was the third team.
ENCE was the third team, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That order, yeah.
So there we go. Some pretty decent teams. So they can play Counter-Strike. They can go toe-to-toe with guys like ENCE. Can they do it on a big stage in a final? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, we will wait and see. But I think what I need to tell you first is that if you want an all-encompassing, I said it, I'm going to say it one more time for you, all-encompassing digital experience here for DreamHack Open, you need to check out Snipe. They've got the digital pass that you need. DreamHack.com/digital pass. Head over there and pick that bad boy up so that you get the full experience in and out of the server, just like we're about to deliver right now. A high-octane best-of-3, could be 2 maps, likely will be 3, probably 90 rounds of Counter-Strike, and you're going to want to enjoy all of this. So I hope you've got all your lickies and chewies and you're ready to jump into the action, because our commentators certainly are, and they're sitting idly by, ready to get her going. My goodness, would you believe it?
Well, what's a licky and chewy, by the way, Trace?
It's like any sort of like candy that you probably like, you know.
It's horrible.
It's not like horrible, a specific candy, but it's like something, oh, you like to lick and chew on that. All right. Well, cool.
Okay, cool. All right. Thought it was something else.
Who do you guys got in this final? How about that?
Who do we have in this final? I think that you have to go with ENCE. We've talked about this constant progression that they seem to be performing with. Sure, the hiccup of Epicenter. They were in DreamHack Montreal's grand finals.
Yeah.
They fell to Kinguin at that final hurdle, but I think they are ready to come into this one and blast some heads.
I think so, too. Now, after this event, you know, if they win, for example, they're going to be favorites moving into a lot of events that they play at, which is such a big step for ENCE. It's so cool to have an org like this. You know, you've got Natu at the helm. They just took on a new CEO who's like a former Olympic skier, I believe.
Sponsored by Samsung.
Sponsored by Samsung. They're making really big moves. They have a solid lineup. It's hard from the outside to see who you would even pick as a player that is the weakest link on the team. You know, everybody's had such good rounds in this event. And, you know, they don't get too excited when they win, but that's just like the finished way. I think that's a good thing.
Right.
And I think... I don't know. I think it's just, it's amazing. You know, the brand is really coming into fruition. You look at this logo now, and it holds a certain amount of weight.
Yep.
Yeah, you really expect a lot from ENCE, and that's not something that we've heard of from Finland in ever.
And then you take Bravado on the other side of all this, right? They've already made history twice in terms of DreamHack Opens. They've joined a European qualified team in the playoffs. Never before has that occurred. They managed to get into the finals. Again, a first-time instance. Never have they actually picked up a championship win. So let's see, folks. It is time for Fady to get this first duel underway, and Bravado find the opening kill of this finals.
Yeah, and Fady has been a monster, so I'm not surprised to see it. Detrony from back 6 has got an important position, but he has a teammate to help him out. Alu has made his way up a train, but won't get down the ladder safely. Sonic's the one who gets tagged, however, and he's in a pretty good spot.
Oof. It's a simultaneous gush and an accidental burst. Aerial still trying to just skewer this site, but taken back into the advantage is Bravado. However, it's a ruse. They're so preoccupied with that A bomb site that Alexi B sneaks the plant through on the opposite side of the map, and his teammates trying to rush over as quickly as possible. That's X7. Remember, Alexi's got the Molotov, and the kit, nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
For Bravado, they're already on the bomb site, and that's a preemptive molly. Down instantly, just like Elusive once he reaches the top of the ladder, and it's an additional peek from Alexi, just peppering them back and pushing JT into a very awkward spot.
Yeah, it was a preemptive molly. If the molly went down a little bit later, you guarantee the bomb doesn't get defused, but in this situation, they had to defend it. They had to get their kills. They also got those, so that's a solid way to start this final off. And I really felt like ENCE were going to hit the ground running just because they did play a best of 3 just now, and they had 30 minutes to chill out, you know, so they've got to cool down after they warmed up. And now that they're back on the server, I actually wonder if Bravado are going to be able to get focused as quickly as ENCE can.
Right, for the Bravado fans, though, I got to say, like, these guys are dedicated to the cause. Obviously, huge opportunity. The moment the previous teams in that semifinals cleared out of the booths, we had Bravado sitting down to practice.
Yeah, good for them.
So they've been there for like at least 45 minutes, nearing an hour. Mechanically, they should be ready to go. But we watched ENCE tear through Heroic on this T side of Train.
Yeah, they looked amazing. Only player that really delivered from Heroic was ESCE, but it was everyone on ENCE that was really going in. Fady gets a dink off, or gets dinked actually. Galil spray finishes him off. The flash was good, and he tried to use his body to bait him into shooting and staying out in the open to eat the flash, which was successful, but it was at the cost of his whole life.
Not even really much damage back the other way. Sergey's still fine on 87. We have this pressure over towards IV2, so ENCE already having this advantage in weaponry. They just want to keep Bravado as spread out as possible. There are 2 scouts currently on the board between Elusive and Detrony. That means one of which still here towards Z. So a scout and pistol per bomb site.
I wouldn't move a single player, just as you're pointing out. They've got an even spread of weaponry across both sites, and that smoke can try to juggle a rotation. They're baiting them into stacking over at B, leaving Sonic alone at Ivy, only to go down.
Elusive, though.
Damn.
Nice snap. Straight down goes Sergey. Alu attempts to close that gap, and Detrony's caught over. He's still going to have a player back in CT spawn, but that's the last man up. Unfortunately for Bravado, the force buy not paying off.
Yeah, it falls a little bit short, but you like the setup, you like the guns they use and where they put everybody, for sure. So not another kill to be had, and Alu turning up the heat, spamming the body, BM in chat. But you do want to get in their heads.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you saw in the
thing.
player interviews, right, and saying that we feel as though they fear us.
Right.
And even if you are Bravado, confident as you should be coming off of all of these steps previously for the finals, I mean, let's be real. This could be the hardest hurdle.
It will be, for sure, yeah. This is, you know, ENCE were one half of the teams that most analysts expected to make it to the finals. And maybe semis. We've got the cheerleader stack in Ivy.
Yeah, you see that on the old bomb from time to time. This one's fresh, but I like it. There's been that consistency towards Ivy already. And I mean, who expects 5 USPs in a corner? It's the dog pile.
The dog pile. All right, X7. Does he just clean up? Or does he have a big surprise? He's going to be wondering about that.
Yeah, there's something going on here. Good flashback. They try to dodge it, and sure, 1-for-1 trade's not bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now they've all been corralled into the corner. As the bomb goes down towards B, there is no escape.
They're alone, and they get melted. So minimal losses, 2 kills here, 1 kill on the previous round. The economic tally is not that high for Bravado, but it's not bad. It could be worse. And especially to get those 2 kills without armor, without upgraded pistols, is a feat in of itself. So now we get to move on to a proper rifle round after we witnessed a force-up, which is not something you see all that often anymore. It's more often than not you see the CT team just wait until they can get full guns. Here they use an extra round to do it, but that's okay for them. Alu going to be on the op, and there's one in response in Detrony, who's holding down Z, very standard peek. Sometimes you see a battle where someone could flash over T-Con and Alu could take position on Z, and then when that flash pops, it's understood he might peek, and then you have that same flash in response to get them to try to be the first ones to fall for the bait.
Sergey wary of some close presence. Sure enough, Fady had just come up the ramp. So it's a one and done. Sergey's going to move forward now, could apply a bit of pressure. And while Alu does pick up Elusive, it's Sonic's secondary op that trades one straight back. So the numbers stay even, but there's still 3 AWPs in this equation. all of which are just circling around this A site. So it's an Opera's paradise. Duels can be had. We've seen Alu take this train and creep down the other side. He does it once more.
Yeah, it's one of his favorite moves, apparently. He's going to be self-conscious about the fact that he made noise coming off the ladder, but there wasn't actually anyone around to hear it. In fact, we could see Detrony had his line of sight on T-Con, and he knows where one more opponent is.
Of course, Sonic's op firing off. Wouldn't be surprised to see Sonic just go for the quick flank, run all the way around T-Spawn, but he doesn't want to leave his teammate stranded and alone. So he'll double back, and Alu gets legged.
Yeah.
But if you poke the beast, it may bite back. He is still standing with 20 seconds on this clock. And he's just going to play it patient, as he did when he went over top of the trains. He'll prioritize the bomb plant, and that's at least money in the back pocket.
This is such a better rotate than going into inner, knowing that someone could be in Z. It's such a fast rotate for the CTs. They can beat you out every time, and he hits the op shot. It's a one-on-one, but he's favored. I don't care how much health he has. And oh my goodness, JT just too quick on the position, has the rifle up, and because Alu only needed one spot of damage, if it wasn't a headshot and he was full HP, maybe. So
Alu's so cool in those situations.
For sure,
right?
yeah.
Even I would say previously in the round when we see him just climbing over the trains, he's taking it step by step, no rush, and sure enough, he sniffs out some openings. So very well done on his behalf. Even the bomb plant, making it costly. It's a good first round for Bravado, but when you come in to your first round win after purchasing 2 ops and only walk away with 1 player alive, we know they are so susceptible to a reset, and it's exactly that which dismantled Heroic's attempt at a CT side versus ENCE.
Yeah, no doubt. It is an economic stranglehold on yourself to buy 2 ops and risk losing them, and then, as you mentioned, only saving 1. It's a pretty big hit. Now, they don't get to go with the game plan that they wanted to out of the last round, and ENCE have actually turned up the pace quite a lot, which I much prefer.
Trying to charge out from T-Con and Ivy. It's a very quick split versus guys like Sonic, so he gets pressured from 2 directions and falls first. ENCE establishing advantage now, and the Bravado players are just kind of corralled within the bomb site. They've got a little bit of cover and an Opper. No armor on Detrony, so he needs these clean, swift shots. But Elusive, he could emerge from the smoke. He could completely blindside this Ivy player, but unfortunately, if he does so, he is the last man up, and you know this save must be tantalizing. And he's not even going to have the chance.
Yeah, really well done. I like, first of all, the pace change, because you know that it's going to be a rebuy up after they lost the 2 ops. They're not going to have that much money left over. They buy what they can. They don't have the initial grenades to stop any fast outside hit. And then, with the back 6 smoke, the whole idea outside is that you zone everybody into behind the bomb train by Z, and then once they get there, you see how bad decisions get made. They try to jump up on the train, they have to peek towards ladder, but these are all obvious things, and so, you know, they smoke them out of back 6, make them rotate around, and just have them, force them into making really risky moves. Back on pistols for Bravado. They're going to kick it off with an inner push. There's 2 people here, and the 1 dig is good. It's actually Fady going 1 for 1, which is fine. He got tons of info just now. Well, he knows they're in a default, so there's not a lot of play here for the rest of his team to make, but at least they should know that they should be aware of ladder, for example, so Detrony's now in a very favorable spot.
Yeah, it's not a super particular bit of information, but just knowing they're in a default, you can see how Bravado come off of the Ivy side then. Yeah. There's numbers up here in the box halls, so at least just use that little bit of info to close the gap.
Like, it always could be Ivy, for example, which is so much farther away. But yeah, ladder being kind of the middle of the map here for ENCE.
They sense this B hit because of Fady's sacrifice.
I love this setup. So Detrony's the linchpin. If they go down, he might get 1 or 2, but he'll get info early enough for them to rotate. And if they go inner, they've got 3 on a stack, and they have him on a fast rotate.
Right. We have Elusive within the bomb site. Can always be a tricky position. Sonic as well has the cover from above. JT wants to make that first bit of contact. He wants the close proximity kill. But if they all circumvent these pistols by charging up and above, they'll have that high ground advantage. They're just going to try to bombard down into the bomb site. X7 just flies inwards, and sure enough, Elusive finds one, but it's the AKs that pan out, and while Detrony's hot on their heels, it's going to take some beautiful deagle plays. Mind you, the bomb carrier's incredibly lit, so a single shot would do it. Oh, but Alexi B, he manages to get it through and through, and then aerial strikes from behind.
Oh, you've got to feel for him. He did the right play. You know, it was good that they smoked a bomb number 1 just in case, even though they were expecting him to come from the Z rotate, but him waiting to kill the Opper as the bomb was going down while one player's hands are busy is, I think, the smartest thing he could have done. And that was a nice cleanup by Alexi. So, you know, without those 2 kills, they didn't expect to run into 3 players. So,
of course not. And therefore, great outcome for Bravado. You're happy with that.
Lots of damage done.
see if they can do it yet again.
All that money counts for something. But yeah, back on pistols. Kind of a deco. Another inner push coming up. 2 players this time, JT and Fady joining hands.
Right, it's the same setup as the previous round, but with 2 players here to try and maybe counter out the heavy numbers that they figured out in the previous round. So that little tidbit of info Fady got last round was useful for the stack, but it's also useful for the setup in the follow-up. Good calls by Bravado, but unfortunately you're still at such a disadvantage that MAC-10s rip right through you.
You don't have to be too cerebral on the ecos. You just got to make a couple sensible decisions about how you want to stack. Hey, this is what we saw last round. Let's try this. And you just give it a shot, you know. Why not? You've got nothing to lose except for a couple of $500 pistols. But for ENCE, they're fine. They won these 2 ecos. They took a little bit of damage, but they come out ahead. They know they're going up against a rifle round next round, so they can kind of telegraph the play. I think for Bravado, they've got to be worried about another fast outside. They're very susceptible to it. They didn't throw any of the correct grenades for a fast outside, so we're totally unprepared. Here, they've got some impact grenades, and they have an HE at the very minimum, so they could stop this. A flash is, funnily enough, one of the most important things, but as we can see, just Alexi jumping out with his head down allows him to go up confidently.
Yep, sure enough, Detonate, not expecting such aggression. He also had a nice angle over top of the Smoke's edge, but he finds JG walking forward. Good shot from Fady. Close, can't land the no-scope, and instantly ENCE flood into the B site. It is theirs. Elusive may try to get in here and find a bit of damage control, but what are you going to do? 2 versus 3 retake attempt if they opt to go for it, but with no grenades, you can't cover off that distance, and Alu plucks one from above. Sonic's op now twice as valuable. So you know he's going to save.
Yeah, you know he's going to save. And so you know this fast outside continues to be a problem. And there, I'm surprised. I saw the flash go in, and it is very important. You bounce the flash hard off the wall, and it bounces off blue train, and then you can just blind anybody who tries to come out. But Alexi dodges it, and that's the only thing they have. So they don't have any insurance policies. You can't put all your eggs in one flash, even though it is an important flash. And I'm surprised Bravado didn't anticipate something like that to happen, with ENCE knowing that they got away with it so easily. I'd like to see on this next rifle round for them to take precautions, use a couple extra grenades to stop any T-Con presence, and not allow something like such a liability like this to occur. He even had the smokes to support him on the lurk, but it's just such a common thing to do, right? This is what Olaf popularized so much, working outside by himself, even having a spot named after him.
Bravado making the most of their pauses, calling one early. This is starting to slip out of their control, undeniably. I don't think it's entirely surprising. I mean, ENCE have become synonymous with Train, right? It's one of their home turfs. It's like seeing them on Mirage, definitely 2 of their strongest suits. And if you're Bravado, having watched ENCE destroy Heroic earlier today, you know, how much weight do you put in this first map?
Definitely.
Oh, the artillery barrage.
Gotta like to see this, you know. That's when you know the cogs are spinning.
The screaming memes.
Very difficult to throw these nades well placed, and that's how you line it up. But yeah, it's only,
nice.
Oh, if they went out at the same time, which is the other thing that's very hard to do, Alu could have potentially gotten killed. That's not a favorable spot for JT, but he comes away with a 1D, so that's a big W.
Elusive still holds on to his frag. He's currently sitting within Z, so if he waits long enough, could have maybe happened, but Alu hesitant, and rightfully so. They'll nab back an advantage here and try to group up, utilizing one of the strengths that we identify with ENCE, and that's team play.
Definitely, and yeah, when they've made presence outside, they've been able and prepared and ready to split inner if they have to, if they lose a player outside, or if they get the kills they need to. So they're working with moving parts, and they're very comfortable doing so, and that's one of the biggest threats with them, is that they seem to waste no time. So now we've got to walk back to inner. Last time Bravado called this out by stacking. This time around, it's just going to be Elusive. He might hear something, I don't think just yet, but he will now have visuals.
Finds the tagged up Olive. Decent enough, however. Already so many players near that the trade seems inevitable. 2 versus 2. Yet again, a fruitful endeavor in terms of the eco rounds. Bravado dealing damage and furthering it with another. Why not? Why not take this chance? Because you have Detrony coming in from behind. Bomb has just been planted. Sure, there's no kit in this equation, but they don't have to wait too long before really get this rolling.
Yeah.
The shots from downrange, that calls Alexi's attention, and sure enough, here comes Detrony. He's going to walk wide, find it, and that's Bravado with an eco win.
Well done, well done. Yeah, they had to do it at some point, and on a comeback, it's nice to see it happens on an eco, even though it's surprising that it happened to ENCE with such a dominant half to start things off. You know, players over 10K at the moment. But this will be nice because now we won't have to witness like potentially another reset right away. You know, they pick up an op here, so they won't have to buy that. That's an extra almost 6K in the bank. they want to think about. Also increases their odds of winning this round. And we just want a good game, right? We want to at least make this competitive to some extent. So they go ahead and couple that op with another. And that's to answer ENCE, who actually don't have any there. Oh, no, they do. Sorry, Alu has one. Obviously retaining it.
Flashbang's quick, nicely timed, but one of 2 ops pays off already. Straight out the gate, Alexi's down. But Alu responds.
Okay, so here we're in the 4v4. Alu gets caught off guard. That's the kill they needed. Would have liked to see what the adjustment would have been if they needed to get map control, and Sergey is right there and ready.
So fast.
He is so fast, yeah.
Calculated with those peaks, knows just when to stop himself as to not expose himself to the scopes. Remember, 2 ops still in this one for Bravado. And yet again, both within this A site. Ariel's gonna test them. Takes one to the leg.
Right under the train. Into the ankles.
They're gonna redirect themselves.
The mid-rounding has been good. I like the decisions that ENCE have made. I think it has become quite common for them to go inner, but that doesn't mean they're going to go inner this round. I don't mind that Bravado are playing 2 outside. Fady can contribute here with frags alone. He's in a strong spot. He also has a Molotov. If he is able to fall back off the train, ENCE have to execute quite soon, so he knows it's not going to be a fake, so the rotations can come in. It's going to come down to if he gets flashed here, and he doesn't.
He can pick up frags, and those CTs are coming over. Double ops on the retake, so he needs to do some sort of defense, and sure enough, Molly down, forces defeat. It's over towards the bomb site. The bomb itself does go, but towards ramp is where he takes down Ariel. Fady erects the defense, and he pushes all the pressure to the shoulders of X7, who is now crept behind him, but 14 seconds left. He needs to pull the trigger, not before Detrony finds him, however. That right there is Bravado with another round on the board.
Really well played from Fady. You know, staying alive, playing his spot to perfection, not feigning when he knew the flash came over just because he could have got scared. And they had no idea he was going to take high ground in that situation, so he, you know, whether or not he gets the 3rd kill, it's just a fantastic round by him. A 3v3 1 for Bravado. That's a very important stat line in my opinion. So the mid-round, it can be very hard for teams that are maybe less experienced or just, you know, under pressure, because that's when the communication gets really strained. And they showed up. So now they retain the 2 ops, which is big for them. JT is going into ladder. We haven't seen a lot of ladder shenanigans or antics so far. I think in all the times we've seen Train so far this tournament.
Fady up ramp, doesn't decide to wait for ENCE to make their move. He shows his hand first.
Oof.
That's a big whiff.
Line up that molly.
Been pressured back by the flash, and then the smoke to follow suit does the exact same thing. By the time he finally gets out of position, he's met with an additional piece of utility. Blanketing this bomb site in smoke. Shrouding vision. ENCE ready for the retake attempt, and Elusive kicks it off strong, first and foremost. However, the opper's over towards Spindles, and Sergey's waiting for his head. Alu near omnipresent. Consistently trying to cut down numbers. And this double op set up again, right? I feel like in the previous round, when we had all the pressure on Fady, it was going to allow Sonic and Detrony to save these ops if he died instantly. Same thing here. They've kept those ops in the back line, and it enables the retreat.
It's a big pickup by Alu, just to really shy them away. And because they keep the more expensive guns, they're not going to be too shook by this. It is just a big round for ENCE to win because they continue their lead after getting shaken up just a bit. But either way, I still see Bravado being able to take more rounds in this half. They look pretty good so far. ENCE just had the fastest route to getting the 6-1 with, you know, the hard reset, the pistol early on. Still a lot of good things to say about both teams. I think it might have been too volatile of a play to try to walk up the ramp without any utility at an awkward timing. If you do it right at the beginning of the round, you may be trying to catch someone off guard, but you put yourself at risk of anything happening if you walk up 40 seconds into a round where they might just be finishing clearing out brown halls. They want to now walk down the ramp, and that's kind of where he got caught.
I can see the temptation though, right? You walk up and like you said, you don't know what's on the other side. For all he knows, he comes around the corner to grenades in their hands.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, there was not just 1, but 2 players prepared for his push.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I was wondering if ENCE were going to do something fast outside. So the 2 smokes that they're throwing here, this is just a feint to try to bait out utility because they know they've been susceptible to all of these fast rushes. But Bravado haven't bitten, and they don't bite again. This time it pays off. I can see the thought process for ENCE and why it makes sense. Oh, that's some pretty movement from Alexi.
Flames extinguished, but not the threat. JT still left forward here. Hello, hello. Nice.
Wow, wow. That's about as good as it gets.
And another one. The Molotov down. That's going to disrupt everything. They
Look
still
how
get their
much
smoke
damage
off,
they
but yeah.
did.
Everything versus Sergey and Alexei comes from JT's utility. That was great grenade play. And on top of that, it makes his job of spraying them down so much easier if they don't perfectly counter flash him and Elusive. Ariel and Alexei just tearing this bomb site open. Fade's going to be on the flank and Detrony high and above. Cowering, and I don't blame him. There's a lot of threats looming near.
That's unbelievable. It's so difficult to stay composed in that situation. You're getting naded from nades you've never seen before, right? At the top of ladder while you're sitting in your spots to line things up. And then they're able to find a good timing to flash down. They time that perfectly where the ladder player is also blind. Alexei gets the kill. And then they swing out and another flash comes and it comes over T-Con to blind their E-Box, man. And then there's no chance for Bravado to get their feet on the ground. So super good response from ENCE, just really impressive.
Right, praising the grenades of Bravado, just because, of course, you see it visually, the damage that Sergey and Alexei sustained. However, like you said, those flashbangs were perfect, so utility play, the name of the game in this round for both teams. And in the end, it's Alu and Koz yet once more.
And look at that, flash pop's right behind him. So he found the exact angle. JT's blind, Elusive blind. This is exactly what you want when you're executing on T side. You're trying to kill all CTs blind if possible. You can't always rely on flashes, but when they're that good, and you have ways outs where you have more outs where you're throwing more than one flash, you know, not putting all your eggs in one basket, you can get away with stuff like that and leave Bravado more confused than anything else.
Substantial early damage versus Bravado. Sonic lucky to be alive, but they swarm into T-Con and they take control of it. All the while, ENCE, they've trickled out from Ivy, looking to take some counterplay, but what is this? Bravado, with USPs, have managed a 5 versus 2. They've gotten their paws on an AK and a MAC-10. Let's see if Alexei and Sergey can swing it back their way. Oh, more damage. It's coming in from multiple directions. He's pinched with bomb down. Sergey with everything to do.
They've been creative in disadvantaged situations, but this was just a bit too much. Those kills came in such quick succession, and they put up a good fight, but man, Bravado just swiped that one right back. That's a pretty nutty plays from all players. And you know, they've got USPs. They have to hit like the shots of their lives to be able to surmise that. But they do it, so that's some pretty good stuff. We're moving into the last rounds of the first half, and Bravado have 2 ecos to their name, a couple of good rifles, I think one inner hold, one outer holds, but in general, ENCE have many options left over. Their playbook goes deeper. We haven't even seen them use or utilize Ivy to any meaningful extent just yet. So if I'm Bravado, I'm scared of many things at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first times we see really ladder room even come into the equation, and look how smooth it was from ENCE. Like you say, the playbook runs deep. Like Counter-Strike in Finnish Blood.
Another round where there's not any attention drawn to Ivy. I love to see a T-Con smoke like this from the CTs. It's really difficult to think about how you deal with it and move into another site when you assume a CT has this much information, because even if they're not sitting in T, oh my God, okay, well, that's your answer, right? That's all you have to do. Just hit 6 bullets straight through one of the densest walls in the game.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, no problem.
Detrony feeling pressured towards this B site, and sure enough, bomb is in tow. But when do ENCE decide to go? Fortunately for Bravado, they still don't know which site it is, in fact. So he'll float back towards Z connector. 30 seconds for ENCE to decide. So much utility for them to blanket the bomb site yet again. We've seen them pretty much just counter the defensive and the rotations with this utility. All the while, X7 will draw attention back towards A. They're going to try to sporadically get back in it. Detrony rotates over. Upper's smoked off, so he doesn't find his target despite bomb being planted now.
This is the second to last round, and Bravado have some money. So even if they have a very low chance of winning this retake, they might think about it. I think for them, it comes down to if a kill comes early, or if it's not very labored, they don't take much damage for it. But it doesn't seem like they found that, so they're just going to move off. It was good on ENCE to not peek. They did what they had to do. Molly goes down just in case there's somebody trying to lurk up. Alexi sits in the smoke, waiting for an opponent, but nobody shows face. And that's a round in the book. Another good mid-round from ENCE. The numbers are getting low. There's trades back and forth, but most of the time, ENCE's lurker outside has been amazing. He's always getting a kill, and they're doing a really good job of getting the opening frag. Alu chiming in when he needs to. It's not like he's been the star of this map, but that's not what he has to do at the moment. They're up in so many rounds.
Right, we've got Alexi and Sergey up there on the scoreboard, and Alu's there with them, but again, it's impactful frags from him. And
see how many bullets he has? You know, that's like,
easy.
yeah, people will do damage there, and then they'll switch off and think, all right, well, I don't know if he was there. I hope I did damage. But that was maybe even 10 plus bullets. I don't know.
This is one of those situations where everything's just coming into place for ENCE. Your Opera's firing off. Your 2 general carries are up there too. Consistently convincing Bravado to save, but save no longer. The final round of the first half, and Fade's already on half his health.
I appreciate him going to try to be aggressive. They have had some creative ladder plays to help the CTs out in the early round, and I honestly feel like he could do it again, and maybe you don't get smoked by an insane outside execute. They did a lot of good stuff there. Now going for T-Cock control is beautiful. JT getting 2 frags. X7 can't even trade because of the Molotov, and the smoke to deny him any vision or any hope of getting back what they just lost.
Very well pieced together there, Bravado and co. However, Sergey, of course it's Sergey,
right,
finds another cracking opening, and he does this in disadvantageous positions. You can see Sergey's leash taken off. And when he's allowed to run rampant, he's always good for at least 2. However, nothing further. Despite him being all the way forward on the B site, X7 was not yet there, so he's turned tail, tucked back towards A, and we'll find it for the most part open. The Molotov indicates his presence nearby. And while Bravado are sectioned away, even a bomb plant's not going to mean too much because he needs to follow suit. Final round upon us. And X7 comes off his plant. Can he pull this out? Not when he's being flanked. The headshots are there, but none are his. 5 rounds for Bravado.
Nice. Yeah, they end the round. They end the half with at least 1 more round. I don't think that this means that they're out of it. They're low, but they're still doing okay. I think they are okay on train. They're happy to be here. ENCE as well, but this was a good CT round in general. Just the way that they were fighting for map control, which is nice. I haven't had to harp on the fact that they haven't been too aggressive on CT side. They found options. I think they just weren't as maybe fluid as they could be. Like, they didn't actually push all the way down Ivy once in that half, which that would have been a good play to make, right? They would have got a lot of info. And it's all about just trying to ease up on rotates. Like, if ENCE are going to be able to find opening kills so often, you have to be just as proactive to try to get map control in response if you can't get a kill back. You know, if Alu just gets a kill from T-Con, for example, with an op, and you can't trade it.
Yeah, I have to say, I was like individually very much impressed with JT's A defense, right? I feel like you always look to players who have to play difficult positions, and you see how well they can, you know, just control certain situations. JT, first of all, the utility play from ladder room.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah.
That's sweet angle work with those frags and whatnot. And then you follow it up 2 rounds later, and he charges into T-Con again with this perfect volley of grenades. The flash for the peaks, the Molotov to deny that 3rd player's trade, and the moment the Molotov is extinguished, you got a smoke in your face to walk back with your 5 versus 3. So really cool stuff on the aggressive A play. But like you said, it's not everywhere across the map that we see them with those sorts of setups. Ivy, never really in the equation. I would say ramp towards the B site at times looked weak, maybe just mismatched on the timing. You saw them replace the ramp walk up with that Opper in the depths of the Brown Halls. But that's all over, folks. The first half concludes, and we've got now ENCE on the defensive with a pistol kill already.
Got a wonky 6 smoke. I don't know if they're actually going to run up. Yeah, they're going to use this to try to get through Sandwich. No, they push right through to catch him off guard, but X7 is too prepared.
Dancing around the bomb site. Everybody picks up their frags. The utility from Alexi V never even needed. He'll move forward with it all. And ENCE, smooth sailing to start this second half.
That was nasty. You know, they threw the smoke and they ran through it just because they didn't want it to be watched while they put pressure on the other 2 choke points on the other side of them. But even after getting the first bullet off, X7's reactions were too perfect. And they couldn't make anything of it. So that's the 2nd pistol in the book for ENCE. They've got Bravado back on pistols themselves, and it's not going to be a force, so they're not going to throw any Hail Marys. They're going to cool down, wait for the next round where they can get AKs, and try again there. Congregation of the T's towards ladder. It's actually, going to be an inner walkout potentially. Not a single flash in sight. Going to go off contact. They've been spotted. Do they actually run? It only gets harder from here.
Thomas at a distance will be fine. Sergey, having slapped the MP5, moves forward with it. Could deny plant and does. That's no money for Bravado either. All they were really looking for is they threw their flurry to the B site. Utterly dispatched of.
Yeah, it's a QB sneak. They just wanted 10 yards. They couldn't even get that, so it's a big find, and that is the differ. There's definitely this like a dichotomy of players or teams, I guess, that will play aggressively on anti-ecos. I much prefer when teams play close up because the plant is huge for the terrorists. There's going to be more rounds for them to buy on train just because of how easy the bomb plant is on B site. And for that reason, I think it's valuable to try to defend it, even if that means you're putting a CT at risk. So these are the nades that we want to see Bravado throw, right? They've got that flash that bounces hard off the wall, but they also have the molly. So if someone tries to jump out behind the train while they're sitting in fire and they're blind.
JT making the most of the smoke and getting close to it. We had ENCE nearby, but they've already trickled back into the bomb site. 4 defenders on A. Next 7 caught as he sprays his MP9. Frag could follow suit with the kill, and it does. He's faded away. Alexi B, though, he's taken off the E-box. And Ariel's still within the trains, doing good work, maintaining the even ground and looking hungry for more. But Sergey looks to combine with him. If he can flush this player off E-box, there's the trade potential there. But now he's still in the cover, and JT gets the double. Both from left to right. However, Alu not in sight. He's rotated over.
Yeah, bombs back in spawn. This is going to slow things down quite a lot. They're going to be worried outside. There's a chance here for Alu to try to equalize, and Elusive just wants to make sure there were no shenanigans on the outside, or at Ivy maybe, like a giant flank through. And Alu is in incognito mode at the moment. They don't know that he's in Z. They might guess there. There's probably like a 30% chance that they're expecting him here. He misses the flick. JT had a round and a half. 4 kills for him, and he is the IGL. I think a player that was brought up on the analyst desk is one that has been like not expected to be, you know, top 3 on the team, but this tournament has been fantastic individually speaking. And you could say that in this day and age, that's just expected, that, you know, you can't have a player that just lags behind every single map. But it is great to see him showing up in a final. This is a pretty stellar performance by him. 6 rounds of difference now, as ENCE still have a strong lead. But once again, a good rifle round as soon as they're able to buy guns in the half.
Alu's op, trying to peer over top of the trains, but no angle found as of yet.
Oh my god, that's quick, dude. That is very fast.
I officially retract my statement. What's next? Ariel, you want to get aggressive? You could, but if he does so, there's 2 Ts awaiting his arrival. They're just trickling all around. Another one.
I just saw just a faded image of DJ Khaled. Oh, Pouty's just said that. All right.
Swap some guns and set up shop. This is still an unpressured situation now. You know that Alexi and X7 are liabilities, but you can offer them up to the gods for information in return. Here comes the pinch out from T-Con. And Ariel's given his position away, not expecting Sonic to be right there so fast. 2v2 back on the table. Round could be Bravado's. But do they anticipate Sergey's flank? Remember, just working with the Deeg. Alu's going to give them the majority of the bomb site. Sergey will pry outwards for some sort of information. Where did Bravado go? Nobody seems to know, but eventually it's going to reveal itself because there's 15 seconds left over, and of course he does. Sergey between the eyes and Alu up close with the op. 13 rounds for ENCE. Cool and collected in those sorts of mid-round situations.
Just when they needed him, and again, the mid-round is what's so strong for ENCE. And there's just a laundry list of things that you can say are so good about this team, but you know, look at those reactions. That's such a hard shot to hit, and if you're prepared, you can hit a shot like that every time. But it's not that you're like half prepared because you're like, all right, maybe he jumps, maybe he doesn't, and then on top of that, you've got to deliver on the spot. So good stuff from Alu. I like how pesky Bravado have been at Ivy. They've almost always sent 1 player, and here's the response. They're getting the Ivy push out from ENCE, and they know that they're probably farming against an eco. They tried to force the situation and push those kills into the SMG, which I totally respect. But look at this. Could this be another eco?
Could be the 3rd. This time they've got a little bit more to work with. Remember that MP9 and Galil now in the equation, but Alexi can spray nothing more than 1. Alu, you know he's got to be sweating.
Oh, look how deep that smoke is. That's cool.
There we have it.
Oh my god, okay.
Sick round from Bravado. Keeps them in it, right? Denies ENCE that 14th point.
I'm not against the Ivy push. You know, I think it's good that they use their MP. They try to weaponize the MP9, the cheaper weapon to get information. They know if they lose it, they only lose the MP9. But it was really just everybody that got killed way too easily. I think that's actually eco number 4, Connor.
It is.
Yeah, for
Correct.
Bravado, which is it's actually not a good thing at a certain point, right? If you don't have a lot of rounds in total, if it's this, like half of your rounds come from ecos,
yeah.
I mean, that's when you're kind of just looking at each other like, why can't we do this when we have better guns?
Here comes what could be the fast split. Let's see if ENCE can rob an eco of their own. They do have a 5v4 and substantial damage. 3 kills off of the initial hold. Bravado not knowing what just hit them, but it's not over yet. Hot damn, Launders.
Hot diggity damn.
ENCE could give chase, but at the same time, they've picked up 2 of the AKs. So they'll cool off their jets and double back.
Bravado take their time here. Minute 5 on the clock. They can go down lower. They want to fan out the rotates, and they do get a couple of players to leave. It's just X7 now on the backup bomb, and this is a comfortable spot from him. He's got players in the back lines to cover his rotate, but that's a big kill from Detrony. The bomb could actually get taken down. It's now going to be a 1v1. X7 knows where his opponent was last spotted, and he's also low. The tap, does he bite on it? Looks like Detrony has no choice but to wait.
Oh my God. Bullet. One bullet either way gets the job done. Detrony lands it on the flying AK, soaring out. No kit, low HP.
Yeah.
And still, Detrony nabs it.
And that's the 2 in a row, right? We got back-to-back rounds for Bravado, so that's a good start. And this is such a fantastic round from Detrony. Don't even know where that shot came from. And look at that.
The shadow.
He tried to be close enough that he was in position to stop a defuse without having to run.
Yeah.
But that puts him in a position where X7 realizes that if he's baited him at least that far, he just has to try to get any damage in. Just goes for the jumping spray. I don't even blame him for doing it. I'd be a bit frustrated if I was ENCE to lose a round like that on top of the ecos that keep happening. You know, at what point do Bravado smell blood in the water, right? At what point do they shake off the nerves if they have any? And they see that we can do this. Not a map done by any means. ENCE take attack pause.
They've got to be thankful for the fact that they picked up that 4th eco in this match already, because that's the one that dodged their hard economic reset and then puts ENCE's economy in question. So this advantage here in the 22nd and potentially 23rd round all comes off the fact that they did that fast split with just pistols. But speaking of fast, it's a quick push up from ENCE. Nets them just 1 kill. Bravado seemed ready for it in terms of numbers. Everybody prepared. Guns up, damage down, and only Sergey standing. Bravado will trickle into the A site despite limping in. Still poised to take it.
I don't know Bravado that well, but I think what we saw was just, you know, a running execute that they would like to use on anti-eco, specifically versus pistols, but it's something that can also work versus rifles, where basically everywhere you throw smoke, they throw fire. So if anybody's camping around the back of a train, anything back 6, anything on the bomb train itself, it just gets mollied out, and all the easiest spots for pistols to stand and wait, like this one, for example, can't be stood in safely. And that's kind of all you have to do. Running execs can be really nice. We see the damage was dealt. There's a lot of players low, and so they came close, but Bravado delivered. They keep 4 up. There's a chance here for Sergey to make magic happen, and you know he can. Don't want to write him out just yet. But it seems like they've finally gotten to safety. Of course he gets 1 kill.
Yeah, he makes quick work with players with that P250. He had a glorious 3K on Nuke versus Heroic earlier today.
I think that was Aerial.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
Aerial,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're all talented for ENCE. Like you said, it's hard to pick out the weaker link.
Okay, let's get into it. We've got 4 rounds of difference. Buy up for both teams. Bravado need to get their head on straight. They've won ecos. They've got back into this game. If it not for the pistols, we'd be tied, or Bravado would even be winning, potentially, depending on where they stood after those said pistol rounds. So well, they got to remember that. They've been good at applying pressure to Ivy. They have already taken ladder control this early into the round. That is a big find. Aerial's already splitting up his attention because he doesn't feel confident that there are proper eyes on T-Con to cover him, which might be a flaw in the setup. We'll see.
Those eco wins are enough to keep Bravado in contention. Just seem to struggle in the gun rounds. Lost a player to Aluzop. They're sitting amidst the ladder. No pressure, no rush. Plenty of time to work out, and they'll do so. Right into Aerial's crosshairs. He's able to take one. Fady then close proximity drops him, and it's just the trade train all the way forward. Back into a 2 versus 2, but Alu alive. And a great clutch player at that. Honing in on Sonic, just face to face. They're touching each other's barrels.
Oh my god, like ships in the night.
And from that, he backstabs Detrony. Sonic can surprise him, sure enough. But Sonic doesn't know where Sergey's at, and the patience not entirely there.
Yeah, that was such a precarious spot. He knew that up against the wall there was another player outside, but he didn't know if Alu was going to leave his vision or even turn around. Like, he could wait, but he might look even dumber if Alu spins up and realizes that maybe there was a flank through Ivy. Unfortunate situation with them passing through each other in the smoke, but that's the name of the game. That's going to happen sometimes. I'm surprised enough that he didn't see his barrel, but we've got different smokes.
I like the positioning there from Alu on the B site. You see it. JT, he just peeks deep brown, trying to anticipate someone on spools. But because Alu is halfway upper against the wall, more than just the elbow shows, and he finds it with the first bullet. And that's what happens with Alu. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Centimeters, kilometers.
No, I'm glad you stuck with you stuck with Imperial, so that's good.
Let's see what happens next. Bravado much quicker this round, trying to trickle inwards, and Aerial's going to deny it with just his SMG. The ump's paying off. Elusive with a response, but at the cost of more than half his health. What's more, they've been bottled in because of these smokes. Everybody's just trying to pile up upon the bomb. Shots both ways, and still further damage. But Detrony alive, barely. JT's flash blinds Sergey. Not that he goes for the peek or misses any action. ENCE content to sit and wait.
Yeah, they don't have to do much now. They've got spot. I think they have vision on the bomb this entire time with Sergey right here in ladder room. He, at a certain point, will be maybe aware of some late ladder play, but he knows and he has inventory of where these two players were last known. And it's such a big rotate around. With time on the clock, Bravado definitely want to try to wait this out as long as possible. Go for some type of long con play, but here's Sergey, just wait for the drop. Don't know if this will come out, we'll see. JT has the HP to fall. And he instead plays it safe. Make sure to find out if there's somebody there. He is going to be correct about that. Actually, here's the pin on the smoke get pulled, and he's like, here's an opportunity. 2v2 now, and the flank is out. Detrony gets a kill, leaving just Alu alone.
Finds that first one, spots the second body, but that's the bomb carrier to cross on over, and Alu's going to charge him down. He stampedes forward and takes the high ground. Now he's going to have to work around these corners, but remember, the barrel of his op is long. The shot's still there. It's going to come down to just the peak. Not exposing himself as of yet. They're dancing. The dance of death back and forth. Alu now with half the bomb gone, and he hits that.
Damn. The 1v2.
Much pressure, no problem. Alu, 24 kills.
The White Death himself.
And he never even breaks a sweat.
Not even, yeah. Definitely comes with the territory with a player like this. You know, ice in the veins.
I mean, it's a great player to have, and like that clutch ability on a guy that I think is already supposed to be the figurehead of this team, right?
For sure.
Like the rest of ENCE, they are very adamant about it. Like, he fires them up.
Yeah.
He fuels this team. He is a core. It was built around him. You know, he took the chance. Remember, this is a player that used to be on FaZe, working in the international scene. He goes back for that Finnish Counter-Strike. Hell of a drug. And look what they have done. 15 rounds versus the 9 of Bravado. And with a 4-man stack up towards Ivy, they're going to challenge this, but it's a 2-piece setup from ENCE. And of course, Alu on the receiving end. Smoke down, scope up, and yes, the corner player comes wide. The frag grenade could do substantial damage, and it's going to soften up 3.
I loved how Alu used his smoke last time, and he sees the barrel of a gun. He actually shoots the hand right off of JT, leaving just Elusive now to die.
Reloads in and he's ready to go. Tidbits of utility and a push outwards, but he's being flanked right now. Sergey's got him dead to rights. That's ENCE taking train and establishing themselves an advantage in this Grand Finals series. Again, it's their pick. We expect great things from them. They have shown already this weekend that they are competent, but as have Bravado. And we'll be moving on to Inferno, where they showcased their talents versus Existence earlier today.
Yeah.
That match went into overtime, which makes me a little worried. It's not as though we know ENCE to be a super strong Inferno team, but they're just strong in general, Launders.
Yeah.
And even that could be enough.
Yeah, and the same thing for Bravado. I think they brought a team to overtime, were able to win on Inferno, so it might not be their map of choice, but I think they'll have a lot to show for it, and could have been a game of ecos. A couple of pistols go the way of ENCE. Bravado still looked good in spots, and so I'm seeing promise for sure.
Nice. So we'll be back with that second map, but first, we'll give this one back over to the analysts and see if they can make sense of all those ecos.
We could start to do that, or we could just continue to say it's easy for ENCE, easy for ENCE, easy for ENCE, easy for ENCE, but I'm not going to do that, because then
You just did it, man.
You're right, that was kind of the point. Either way, yeah, it looked pretty easy for ENCE right there, dare I say. They were in the driver's seat of that. It almost kind of seemed like
is the map coming in from ENCE, right? And if you look at the CD side, the T side, which just started off at 10 rounds, that's quite a lot of rounds to get on T side. The problem with Bravado, where they were playing very reactive, they really didn't pressure. The thing with ENCE's T side is you need to kind of suffocate them, don't give them the freedom and the space to work with. They had so many opportunities to do that, and then again, Sergey and Alu fragging out of their minds. Everyone is putting in work, and it required Bravado to have some miraculous rounds, like for example the eco round with the Deagle here and there, pulling off some big clutches to kind of bring it back a little closer. But I think by the end of the first half, everyone kind of expected that that particular game to go the way of ENCE.
Yeah, I definitely don't disagree. I think it was not the most beautiful Counter-Strike game. As said, there was a lot of ecos that went back and forth, and I think that was a little bit uncharacteristic for the ENCE guys. That said, though, they show their strengths once again. When it gets into those uncontrollable situations, they find a way back to find that calm and collective way of approaching the game. And as you said, I think they were the better team and they were in the driver's seat throughout the entire game. Sergey, Alu, all of them, Ariel for that matter as well. I like to see this team play, and I like them more and more for every single time I see them, because I really realize how good these guys are individually wise. They can hold up for their own, they can hold up, and they can turn around rounds where it's a 4 versus 3 or where it's a 4 versus 4 in an unfavorable situations. I never feel ENCE is out of it, and that's one of the things I like the most about this team.
Yeah, it's when you find a player with his back against the wall, it seems like he's always making the right decision individually, and you have to know that that's on his laurels, that's on his fundamentals approaching the game.
Exactly.
And for what it's worth, it seems to work out every single time for ENCE. Sort of like these numbers work out. Alu coming alive here on map number 1, boasting 24 frags, and I can give you guys a little bit of an inside info. I know what they had for lunch before this. Burgers. They had burgers, that's right. I was talking to the ENCE staff a little bit.
You're an American, so it doesn't surprise me that you like that, Trace.
Oh, I'm just saying, it worked for them, could work for you at home. Or you could just grab a Monster Energy.
Well, maybe that's what NA is doing wrong, and they're not eating enough burgers before the events, I don't know.
It's basically, yeah, something like that, Jacob.
Something like that. Well, you look at the scoreboard. You just want to point out one thing before you move on your live, Trace, which would be cool. Fade with 8 entry frags. That's pretty impressive, considering that was not a game where they really got the space to work with, and that was not a game where they felt it as a team. He still managed to find 8 entry kills for the team, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with Fade is he is the designated entry fragger for this team, right? And I think the best takeaway for Bravado at the end of this tournament, whether they win or whether they come second here, I think it would be the fact that Fade has been, in my opinion, the find for that particular team.
Well, Inferno will be the next map, but before we get there, we need to go to the stars. That's right, grab yourself an Astro gaming headset. And in fact, they're giving one away. Would you believe it? Head over to the link you see on your screen. We're gonna hold it up there for just a second so that you can get your fingers in the right keys and type it right in on that tab that you just opened up because you're so excited. You know that you want some of this Astro gear. And, moreover, it's powering all the stage communication. That's right, ENCE is using it, and they're winning. And perhaps you can do the same. Who knows? You should try it anyway. So, we're going to go to Inferno. When we come back, you want to make sure you're here with us. It's not going to be much longer. We're going to jump right back into the action. So, we'll be right back to the DreamHack Open Grand Finals. ENCE looking to close it out in 2, and we'll see if they can do just that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Train, the name of the game for ENCE. They pick it up with Alu's clutch to finalize things, Launders. It was their map choice, they win it, and I don't think that's the surprise. The surprise is the fact that we have Bravado here in the finals with them. And as we move over onto Inferno, how much do you think those odds increase of them picking up a map?
I think they're the same. I think they'll play well, but there were worries on Train. They won 4 eco rounds. That's 4, yeah. They got no pistols. There's a lot of things counting against them, but there were reasons that you could see them being able to win rifles. It's like weird. It's like they should have won more rifle rounds, right?
What's wild is like the most convincing rounds they had were the times they were picking up eco wins. Whereas in their rifle rounds, they were consistently making these kinds of 2 versus 2, 3v3 mid-round moments.
Right.
And that's great and all, but you need to be able to kind of push that over the line.
Yeah.
And that's something that ENCE definitely did. They pushed them all around the map.
Yeah, I did feel like when I was watching the ecos, they did look like one-offs. They got a very lucky opening kill, and then all of these other kills just fell into place. It wasn't like, it wasn't like ENCE made really bad decisions that got them ecoed. So I wonder how much was just luck on the part of Bravado, or if it was a confidence and mentality thing where they couldn't get in the zone when they had full rifles, or they got a bit too nervous to make the moves that they knew they were supposed to make. But hopefully, if there was any of that, any lingering kind of fear, that's gone. They could shake it off, move on to Inferno, play a fresh game. It's not going to be the best map ever for Bravado to go up against ENCE on, but I'm sure they, can show their best face and really make a statement here in the finals, because they got all the way here. You're too far along to be like, okay, well, we did enough. They can actually win a tournament. It would be insane if they just even won a tournament. People are already lauding their performances in the groups, just winning 1 or 2 matches.
Again, North American qualified teams have never won a DreamHack Open. This is the first time that a team from the very open stage of the qualifier, I mean, from the open stage of a DreamHack qualifier to the goddamn grand finals, Launders.
They got OT'd by Can't Win a LAN and then came here.
They finally lose a map. First map loss was just now on Train.
Damn, that's a pretty daunting stat line.
So
it's got to shake you up.
Let's go.
Let's get into it.
Ariel set up into the apartment. He does have Sergey just beside him, and that's it. The CZ goes dry, but luckily there's another teammate. Alu bails him out of trouble, and Alexi pries down Banana, taking a lot of damage in return, but hello.
He just got them both. Oh my god. Okay.
The quick 2-tap dirt naps.
Yeah.
And they're done for.
Yeah, they take those all day long.
That is 3 pistols for 3 in this series.
Right, yeah, that's another thing. That's tough. It was a good hall setup. They called out everything, right? They had they were aggressive on Banana, and they had the hall setup, so they stopped the execute before it could occur. Might have been a B fake into a halls pop. We didn't know what that would happen. We didn't know that would happen. By the way, that ENCE shut it down so early. So as RNG as pistols can be, they had a really nice setup to play in response to Bravado's strategy. Now Ariel's crack spotting with the HE grenade. JT flies right by just to bait it out, and Sergey's there to clean up the mess. In and out. 4 players at the bottom of mid, susceptible to grenades, to spam. And all the rest. Some damage dealt by the UMP. Reload is out. Ooh. Could be Farm City, but no. Fady is looking quite gifted with that Glock.
Yeah, Molotov denies any further of a run. Makes them redirect towards A, where further damage is dealt, and they fall for the bait. They walk right into Ariel, who took an opportune moment to push on up. Just milks the cash cow, and has himself 3 with that SMG.
They're not wasting any time in trading for map control. It's an eco round, but they're like, hey, we just spotted so many people here, let's push out. I like the aggression. Keep it up as long as it works, and then, by that time, you probably have a strong lead. And when Bravado figure out what you're doing, then you can start to show them the depth of your playbook and maybe be forced into different kinds of CT setups, forced into passive setups, forced to go for the deal with post plants. But now, here we are into the first rifle round. What is the tempo for ENCE? They're looking for anybody to come out into Banana. They seek him out, they don't find him, but they do have Banana to show for it, even if they don't get a kill. So some good damage dealt back by Bravado. It's not a total loss for them, but they've now got to deal with this threat. I definitely would like to see how they go about it. Smoke to the half wall. 2 players push out, so they've got each other's backs at the moment, and they have a rotate in just in case those kills don't go their way.
Charging through the smoke is going to get punished hard.
Fully shut down. And the re-smoke there from the player in the back. He can move all the way around. And they know that somebody else threw that smoke, most likely because they both got shot down immediately before.
So they're going to try to pry into the A site while they can. Again, knowing numbers were behind them. Unfortunately, ENCE wastes not a moment in this rotation, and Alexi's already thrown himself to the library. Bravado being read like a book. Will just still maintain their brackets control, but not move any further.
Not much to do here. I feel like there was an opportunity to strike. They were already down 3v5. They maybe should have just jumped on that A hit as soon as possible, but they weren't properly prepared to do that right away. And now the CTs are quite comfortable. Aerial sits atop the bicycle. You can see over the top of his own smoke, and Alu is here to engage with a crossfire once the bullets start ringing off.
Volley down. Confirms that Sonic's up in the apps. He has taken an angle over the top of the ledge. That could give him a decent sight line, but no, it's the wide swing from Alu that seems to do most damage. 6 seconds for Elusive, and he charges the site. Can't clear things fast enough. No plant either.
Yeah, it was a good attempt. It was just a little bit basic to me where it's like, okay, wait, and then go into a lane hit, but it's 5 players for ENCE. They don't have to really move at all. If you are 3v4 and you traded for map control, it didn't go your way, then maybe you have to wait to try to get a rotation back or maybe scare them into gamble stacking, but they stood in the same spots for the last 40 seconds, so nothing special there from Bravado. They give it a shot at A. They try to just kill the 2 players who are sitting there, but Aerial in such a good spot, teammate on full alert, and now Bravado are back on pistols. Once again, start looking like they had on train.
I think it'd be easier to use these pistols on Inferno as well. Train eco's not always that likely.
Look at this, he still held on to the MP5 even through that last eco, so.
Confident.
Yeah.
Let's go, big pop out from the apps. They're just gonna funnel straight into Aerial. He takes that borrowed AK and, well, puts lead down range. Sergey, oh my God.
Wow.
Quick fingers, snaps down and does drop Elusive. Denies anything further than that 1 entry. If they catch Sergey, then you can see this A site's open for the taking. They've got the bomb plant with it, and you can argue successful endeavor. The swap pistol confirms he's up there.
Yeah, probably worth making noise for.
Alu will go get him, and that's ENCE with 4 rounds straight.
Yeah, they managed no kills. They get the 1 in pit, but that's after that. That's all. So pretty easy cleanup. Good pit hold. It's going to be their first threat here on A. Definitely the most important part. But ENCE look good on Banana. I like that they're going down all the way to the bottom of it with the 2 players. They have a lot of support in their way as well. So what did Bravado do? They want to go out early to Banana. Again, normally, even though teams smoke deep, they'll have, top teams will have someone jump out, play close right. JT might be that man today. Actually leads with a Molotov. I think ENCE don't want to waste too much utility, knowing that this might be on Bravado's menu. They throw that late trap of Molotovs, force some smoke reactions, get information on 2 players. Can't complete the spray, however.
Ooh, but X7 can. Nails the headshot into Fady mid-spray. That's important, because Fady was just looking to take a couple bits of damage and find a frag in return. But the price of life, too much to handle. 4v3. You can see Bravado trying to adapt to the situation, rotating slightly to the bottom of Banana. There's still utility to dodge here. Plenty of time to do so, but even the A players for ENCE are shuffling around. Going to take up a more anchored position inside of pit. Sure, that opens up Arch, but it allows for ENCE to stay in a 2v2 committed position. Frag down at the feet of the bomb carrier. Going to soften him up slightly, but now it's been thrown in the open, and that confirms things. So ENCE are going to fully rotate over, and a committed spray down from X7. He picks up 4 kills in this gun round, nearly doing it all on his own, but it's Alu to seal the deal, and ENCE to rob a 5th.
Yeah, they give it their best shot. They get all the way to the top of Banana, but not at the cost of, at the cost of 2 people. So, X7 cleaning up the slack here. JT getting the initial kill, which is nice. That does open doors, but that wasn't the last threat. X7 from the back of the site maintained, got 4 in total, and then Alu just comes out with an easy op shot. Tough round for Bravado. Honestly, not seeing a lot of ways that they can really crack open this B defense easily, but maybe they were close. If X7 goes 1 for 1, then we have a different round. That probably comes down to a post-plant situation, and that's a whole lot better. So at least they can say they made more progress than they did previously. That's step 1. It's just that you don't have that much time to level up during the game. You've got to be able to put rounds on the board just because this is the finals. This isn't practice time, right? We're talking about practice.
But speaking of practice, that's something Bravado have to keep in their minds. They allotted their Mountain Dew League loss to the fact that they went in with a do-or-die mentality, and they kind of, spooked themselves. They mentioned here as well, coming into this game, the interview, you've got to stay focused, got to play it like any other day, but tell me the pressure's not on for a guy like Alexi. He's just pinned into the corner, and Fade's going to charge straight in. Allows for Sergey to blindside him, but no follow-up kill or trade. However, it's through the smoke that Sergey nabs another.
Yeah, Detrini kind of asked for that, right? Like, he's just spamming back and hoping that he gets a kill. And they might have rushed the situation, but there's Sonic on the other side of the map, doing what ENCE did really well on Train, where they worked on map control in one spot, but didn't use all 5 players. Instead, had other options. Now, Ariel is going to have his back against the wall, delivers 2 kills, easily done, and JT, who's already been spammed down to red health, has to take on 3.
Yeah, never a fun endeavor. Solid hold there from ENCE. Good job, the reposition, the off angle, like he knew he was being enveloped by Bravado. And props to Sonic for finding that opening on Arch,
Definitely,
right? Wins
yeah.
the duel, creates the space, creates the opportunity, but it's X7 with that shutdown.
Yeah, they definitely created the space. I like that Bravado gave Banana a new look this time. They went faster, and they decided to run through the grenades. Last time they saw that it was kind of a trap from ENCE, where they delayed and waited for Bravado to take things slow and meticulously, and because they didn't give them that, they said, okay, well, let's try to skip it. Let's go one play deeper, and now we can see how Banana has started to develop meta-wise for these two teams. But we're back on the eco, so we're going to have to pause some of the deeper strategical conversations. Alexi sees the smoke cascading over the site. Teammate blind, and that's X7, the threat from last round. Teammates hurt, but they've still got the kill.
Great flashbang there on the push. Alexi challenged and still up. I mean, wow. He manages to survive that onslaught with 4 HP, and by the time that they go for the repeat, Sergey's here to replace him. Sergey 11-0 now.
Nuts, yeah, crazy. I mean, it would make sense. It would be canon to his career to finish the final and just have such a fantastic performance to boot, right? But here's the cleanup crew. Alexi looks so good here. You can't blame them for trading or trying to trade. They were all in proper spots. The spacing was perfect. They died right on top of the last person. It's just that they couldn't get the damage in, and he obviously had the better gun and armor.
That Banana pressure constant. They've got X7 pinned into the corner again, but the flash is the other way.
Oh my god.
It's a multi-spray, and it's all too easy for X7.
That's the trap that they wanted to set. I actually like that Bravado went up quickly. This time, all 3 players eating a flash, though, is where it ends. If they had gotten that kill before the flash went over, then maybe we're talking. Yeah. But X7 had the sandbags to work with. He was ready for something like that to happen. That's tough.
Big individual plays coming out versus the ecos, but now versus the gun round. I mean, same net result.
Yeah, it's true.
And same attempt. Again, consistent in Banana control. Bravado not wanting to give it away for free, because I feel like that committed position behind sandbags, that's so tempting. It's such a tempting kill to try and
you
chase.
Can't run.
Exactly.
I can close you off.
And I've seen Bravado use great utility versus complexity to clear that, banking frag grenades multiple times off the wall. They'll commit to that kill. They love it. But this time, utterly denied. Even Alu, as he burns to a crisp, has managed himself 1 kill, and the bomb's denied once more. This is an 8-0 start that has seemed to come from nowhere.
Yeah, it's been fast rounds. And again, thought process looks fine to me. I like, where Bravado's coming from. It's just they're getting pushed to their limits, not only tactically, but mechanically. If you see these huge individual plays coming out from ENCE, which is kind of the final boss for Bravado, I feel like maybe the best team individually speaking at the event. G2, I guess, but they're more top heavy, right? Like ENCE, it's hard to find a player who doesn't deliver. So, what happens now? Bravado smoke the half wall early on. They don't have a smoke to the bottom of Banana, but it is an eco one more time. So they're definitely going to save some stuff, and instead, after this, are turning their attention back towards bracket.
Not the kill, but at least the damage. Alu sends the warning shot downrange. Loses vision as to what's going on here, but unfortunately for Bravado, they are down to a single smoke. Sure, Sonic has his AK, the only full investment this round, in fact. Where's he at? Playing inside of the apartments once more. So he's just ready to pop out from balcony. This is a good distraction that Bravado can create with all the bodies coming out, if Alu doesn't dispatch of them one after another. Even then, Sonic dying means that the heaviest hitter is removed. Bravado left with 2, neither of which in possession of bombs, so let's see if they can hunt the Deeg headshots.
At this point, you kind of cut communication, just see if you're going to allow one person to work one bomb site. Hey, maybe they string together 1 Deeg or 2, and then you've got a round, but for the most part, they're just going to see what happens. Coffins is always nice, a nice angle to try to entry on, but when you've got a teammate there to create a crossfire, it becomes very difficult to find that easy opening, and Alu and Co put together another one. Let's call them just ENCE, Alu.
We haven't even had a bomb plant.
Not even a bomb plant. That's a really, that's huge. That's huge. And they've even gotten in the site, like that eco round they got in the site.
Right.
There was one round on A where they got close, you know, they wrapped Arch, and then I think either Ariel or Alexi just went and delivered so hard on like a 2-piece spray down. So they are quite close, but 9-0.
The last time that ENCE picked up a tournament win at Star Series, remember that it was Sergey, the MVP of the entire event, and right now he's putting in an MVP-worthy performance. As many deaths as Bravado has rounds. But they've lost that consistency in Alu. The Opper spams through smoke. Great frag grenade goes deep, so now a majority of Bravado tagged up here. They had found an opening, but at what cost? X7 spams through the wood, does create an opening on the B site, and that's going to send Alexi scrambling back to close it. He needs to plug the hole, but Bravado have already managed to leak through. They're on the bomb site. Bomb is there. 4 versus 3 on top of it.
Pouring into sight. They can finally get that bomb plan, as you mentioned, that they haven't been able to find this half. Taking so much damage along the way, and that nade just to make it so that there's no one with full AP on Bravado. And the retake's on, but there is a chance here where if ENCE takes a little bit too long, maybe they fall back, even not realizing how much damage had been dealt.
Yeah, they have to be swift in their kills as well, and that could be made possible by the fact that they're all on low health. 3 of which because of frag grenades. So ENCE taking that utility and making the most of it. Now here comes the push. It's a 2-2 exchange, and so Sergey has to clutch it all, and the head's just not big enough. It's Bravado on the board.
Yeah, they do take one. Finally, they get into B, and you know what? I like how they did it. Once again, they develop one step further. They go for bracket control, but at the same time, they don't work as 5. They instead use 3 players to throw their nades that way, and then they trust the other 2 teammates to work on Banana at the same time. So it's good. They've got good control of the situation. They're kind of spread out like a spider web, you know, but they're making sure they're still a single unit. And that's a spot of brilliance for them. Initial Molotov from ENCE goes down on this round to the bottom of mid, just to zone them into making a bad decision. And here's that space that ENCE have been giving to Bravado. What are Bravado going to make of this? So they think that it's going to be a top banana trap. This is the gamble read that they have to go for. Lots of good grenade damage dealt right away. But that half-wall refresh smoke might actually count against them. Oh my god.
2 frags, so easy for X7. Punishes the peek over. No one likes a pesky neighbor. And then the kills just continue to trickle in.
Man, they got bomb control too. That was a weird refresh. They smoked the half wall to get ground. Some people wonder, why did Tease throw that smoke? It's just to get to the top of Banana, because that's hard enough these days. But then when they refreshed it, they had an opportunity to just swing on the 2 players who were up there, and someone in the back put that smoke down. So we're not exactly sure why that was, unless it was a CT smoke. But I don't think that the trajectory made it seem like it was.
So you give up a 9-0 lead, Mohan.
Yeah.
You win 1 round.
1 round.
And then you get hard reset without a single death so far.
Very hard. Super hard reset. Two up last rounds.
Oh, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. It's one of those multivitamins.
Yeah, big fat one.
Yeah. Do you know if you turn your head to the side, then you can swallow those easier?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm turning my head, but
it's not bro science, I promise.
You're a man of knowledge.
X7's been good on Banana. It's hard to quantify like what the strategy is there. You know, I mean, just X7 hits that spam through smoke. He gets the first kill, was pretty impressive on a jumping player. Here's a bunch of players with Glocks, and hopelessly running up mid.
Yeah, desperation sinking in. Alu's gonna swap to the sidearm, and with all the assistance around him, he tippity taps away. And clearing a path, plowing through
it
to the championship win.
Pretty nutty stuff. Closing rounds of the half.
Normally when Bravado starts taking pauses, It's generally around this time. They've been good at these pauses. They timed them properly.
I think maybe they just had so many ecos.
Yeah.
They just had like a lot of time to talk.
No, fair enough, yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
We shall see.
I'm really interested in this game, man. Like it's been deep. I don't think I'm sugarcoating it at all. You can see how they're thinking about things, and they're trying to just consider a strategy and then apply it. And the execution is kind of there, but ENCE are just that much deeper, and so we're seeing why it's been difficult for them to manage more than one round.
Here we go, though. Timing that opening towards mid. They exchange well enough. Alu's going to go peek through his fire, most likely, trying to gain a bit of information. And they've just ejected. They're back into middle. It's not actually a full rotate towards B, which is maybe what Alu thinks it is.
Yeah, this is the hard part about mid, where there's no safe place to wait.
And they do decide to go. They'll be walking right into the lying weight of X7.
How wide is this peak?
At the helm. They could line up, and they almost do, but he only gets himself one.
Oh, it's a trap. They wanted that to happen. Got two on the fast rotate. Spam comes in. Alexi shuts it down one more time.
And insult to injury. Salt in the wound, spit in the face. Frag grenade banks off the wall and blows their hopes to smithereens.
This is a curb stomping if I've ever seen one. Yeah, X7 is given the keys to be able to play it however he wants in that spot. It's like, peek when you want to. We have two players ready to refresh your position in B. It's going to look like they got a kill that's going to allow them to go into Banana. But Alu has already reclaimed top mid information. He threw that Molotov, was able to peer behind it. And that's the really difficult part about top mid as a terrorist, is because you can only sit behind the pillars. So if Alu comes out that wide and clears it, you can see anybody hiding behind a pillar. And so it's not very safe.
And when he went for that peek, I brought it up that they had actually fallen back just one step.
Yeah.
Because I thought what they were doing was kind of anticipating his aggression, anticipating an informational play, and then re-aggressing into the A site. But all it did is kind of made them stutter step. And so if they had found that opening kill towards Banana when Alu was looking for info, then that kill is an actual opening at the B site, not a trap into the two-man setup. Two more chances, Launders. And when 3-12 is the best case scenario, you know it's dire straits. But they've worked the Deagles well enough this series, and they'll attempt once more at the B site. Sonic tagged up by the frag grenade, and it's just a shooting gallery. A quarter of his health left over as Sonic's the last to fall, 13-1.
Well, we get a smile out of a... The only time that I've seen Sergey smile was during the interview, and that was probably just because he was nervous.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, not nervous to play like a semifinal match on LAN, but to talk to Stunna on the desk.
Yeah, it's that whole socializing thing.
Yeah. But I think it's grounds for it. They're just playing so damn well.
I mean, this is the ENCE that we've come to know. This is the ENCE that can win decent-sized international events. They had that fumble at Epicenter.
They can't give him this peak.
Now they're locking it down. Alu lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
coming back for second serving.
Even when he walked down mid, he didn't even comment, He just doesn't need to. Like, normally you'd have somebody watch that for you, but here they are just running through it. Detrony is able to stop one, but still can't save his team from the indignation. Only goes 1 for 1 and forfeits all the Banana. Bomb left back on the T-stairs, and Apps control has been taken.
Arch control as well, but here's the problem. That bomb is completely alone with JT down there for it.
Yeah, they can kind of split B, but because mid has been taken, the bomb might get stopped, and now they can't even plant.
Desperation. Here it is. They're going to try to take the site in the meantime, but to what avail? You've got 45 seconds to retrieve the bomb, which is being goose-egged by ENCE right now.
They know he's there, and they just have to go back the steps to get the bomb. What a tough spot to be in. Fady knows where one opponent is, but the other two could be sitting anywhere.
Bravado is looking to make history here as the NA Open qualified team in a finals, but I think ENCE are also making history with what could be the fastest finals map at a DreamHack Open.
Right.
15 HP. It's a desperate clutch attempt, as much HP as time.
Last round.
Never a good sign.
This is the best, because normally people would save, so now you see what someone would do if they just literally have nothing to lose. Like, yeah, it's just no time to even get back to the bomb. Oh, Sergey smiled. We're going to tally that.
2.
2. All right. 14-1. Yeah, got a smile. Just Gotta put a smile on.
Gotta laugh it off.
Why not, right? I mean, it's still an amazing performance. It sucks to end this way. I know, like, as a player, like, you're gonna leave this and be like, damn it, we just got owned in the finals. Didn't drop a map the whole tournament too, so they weren't even used to losing. And now they get 2-0, it sucks, but...
I mean, listen, there's a... That was like the most deadpan.
Okay, that's awesome.
We're having fun. No, but listen, okay, this is a kind of scoreline where I think, like, if we come into this weekend, right, at the beginning of this, there is a demographic of people who could see this scoreline in the opening games of the group stage.
Right.
Right? The fact that Bravado got to attend this LAN is something in and of itself. The fact that they exited groups not just in a decider fashion like Existence Galaxy, but rather a 2-0 is just gold on top of it.
Yeah.
Then finals. And now ENCE. A team that obviously has big wins in their pockets, fell at the final hurdle in their previous DreamHack showing of Montreal, but now are primed to take a victory here in Jönköping. What a way to finish off their year if they can get this map in the clear.
Yeah, starts with a pistol. Let's see what they do. 3 for 3 on pistols so far in this series. Out to halls, and the player spotting is no longer there. They've now turned their attention to mid. Smoke goes down on Arch, and they can run headfirst into 4 players. Fully confident, but can they hit the shots?
Yeah, I mean, they've got the setup for it. That should facilitate the process. Detrony, he's not done here. He wants a little bit more. 4 kills in the pistol is enough to double their rounds.
They give it a shot. Pretty simple stuff. Running up alt just to deny any vision at mid, and then throwing the Arch smoke, I think, either from pit or just running. And then they wrap onto the site. Pretty simple stuff. Comes out to the USP kills, and Detrony puts him up. That's kind of a clip. Oh, does he get all 4? Okay.
4 on the one side.
Well done.
Falls to the final.
Going to be ENCE to just get the pistols. They're not even going to upgrade their pistols for the most part. How do they bring this back, Connor?
Launders,
yeah.
I don't have many answers.
Okay, is this one of the questions you don't have an answer to as well?
Exactly.
That's okay. I don't have many answers, especially right now.
Not even a single flashbang here for the Glocks. So you'd think Bravado...
They're just playing on hard mode.
Enjoyed this round.
Yeah.
Gonna have some fun.
Could be.
Add to the scoreboard. Can still get this. We've questioned ENCE's ability to close out games before. They literally have their hand on the guillotine at the moment. Maybe they don't have the stomach to pull the lever.
Yeah, probably good that they didn't force, you know, just because, right?
Tantalizing task to close out this lead. 12 rounds the difference, and if they can get through this one, Bravado, with not a single death, then that's a good look for them. That's going to bolster some confidence. At least you've got the cash.
At least you've got the cash. Yeah, that is step 1 in CS. Make sure you have enough money to buy. It's about as deep as it goes right now. ENCE, they've got money in their hands now. It's going to be a 5 AK round for them. Pretty good utility across the board, and you know, at the very minimum, I would have loved to just compare and contrast like the banana plays on both sides to see how ENCE try to approach on T side, and how Bravado, with the amount of adaptations that they implored, I want to see if, you know, ENCE can do some of the same things and see if they're just as good on CT side as they are on T side.
They're going to come through at the end of the fire, so taking a bit of damage.
Yeah, it seems like they... Oh, wow. This is already a big difference. You know, finding the opening kill was a big stat.
Good exchange with the grenade. Don't linger around too long.
Wow, these rotations. They've got 2 players up at Arch. I mean, they've, you know, 1 player might from B come back to Arch, but you really want to have that pit locked down. Maybe a player on site, maybe 2 on site. Not my favorite setup, but still better than having 2 Arch. So now the rotations are back over. But they're thinned out. They're not exactly confident about how they want to hold on to this. Now they're spotting. They've got kind of a relay setup. They'll have 1 player spam from CT spawn. But ENCE wants the smoke. They want all the smoke at A.
Detrony's team flash. Oh, it's not going to make his job any easier, but as he falls back, it's right into Elusive. So the good left-right combo. That's that man up and over, and then Fady finds timing on a flying X7. So mid-control cleared. It's apartments and banana that ENCE do reside within.
The longer they might potentially delay the inevitable. No smoke. Or yeah, Alu has the only smoke, so he's just got to straight up take this duel. Can't do that.
But A's open.
Oh my god. This would be a good way to end things, huh?
Wouldn't this be incredible?
Oh my god. What's the play here? He's got it open for Pit, but he probably won't feel safe moving around. The thing is, he needs to... Okay. They are... Wow, they were really confused. Elusive went all the way down mid. You know, if he even gets just... Oh, he's made his way into halls, man. He actually took the risk of going into halls. If he gets one kill, he can fall back, be such a problem. They don't have any utility. I see it's possible.
No.
It's possible. Oh my god, they're not going to expect this flank.
No. The bomb's already...
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
I'm lying.
Okay. I was going to say, bomb's not planted for him, so he's going to have to fly around that corner at some point. You'd think they could just pile bodies up high enough to make a meat shield.
Dude, there was a chance.
I could feel it.
Yeah.
I felt the rustling. Who's this?
I don't know what this is.
Oh, the frag. Right, that was when they were trying to chase
Oh, there was a
Detrony.
nade kill. Wow, that was a flashbang kill.
I didn't even get to scream
You
about
didn't even
it.
get to be excited about it. Yeah, this is the
I
second
love
time that
those.
we've seen that while casting. It's like capturing a ho-oh.
Oh no. Here's the big push. They've got Sonic to support JT from the corner. He trades it out with 2 kills apiece, and this was a fast push for ENCE. Considering the utility they had in here, they just wanted to stampede inwards and use that in a post plant, but bomb never goes down. Bomb never even gets to the site. Instead, Alexi will take the AK and try his best Alu impression.
Again, the strat here is just to hold out, wait till 2 players go back to A. You can kind of wait a long time for this, and then just try to hit 2 miraculous shots into B. He's got a smoke and a flash. Wants to delay the nade usage as long as possible. But that's a great off angle from Detrony, kind of all you have to do. And again, you know, what an off angle is an angle that would not normally be pre-aimed. Anywhere that you're standing in between 2 different angles, so that when someone comes to clear, they just swipe right by you. And they clear the angle right before you, and then they go and clear the angle right after you. Try to find as many off angles as you can to play the game. It's the best way to not take damage and stand still. So most of the time, you get tucked into a corner, someone can come out, pre-fire you, and then you'll die even though you thought you had the advantage. Off angles is the best way to be annoying. Alu finds Sonic. It's just too familiar with that smoke. Oh, and there's B. Yeah, this is something that's something that Bravado couldn't do once last half.
I feel like they've been sniffing out this B site as well. Think about the way they played it with those Tech 9s in the previous round. Poor Fady with everything to do is traded by Alu immediately. A minimal defense on this portion of the map leaves the rotators to come on over.
Yeah, they're still worried about anybody who might be up at quad. That Molly spreads just far. That's a perfectly spread Molly.
Oh, but he still manages to find a bit of a push right through it and doubles back. 2v3. Bomb's pinned into the site. That's an easy spam if he can land it, and sure enough, he does. There's no plant with it, but a great trade from Sergey leaves it all on Elusive. They know exactly where he's at. And sure enough, he needs that fresh mag. 30 bullets, and it just takes 1.
Yeah, it looked marginally close. It was actually Detrony pushed through CT. And then he got the kill and then just got killed right away. So he went for the Hail Mary, tried to end the round early. But this was basically Alu and his teammate who actually got the second entry, but then to cover here as well was big. So we're on to match map championship points for ENCE.
ENCE's second DreamHack Open appearance in the finals.
Yeah.
And what could be their first win?
First win. Here it is.
Again, you know, this was something that Jacob on the desk consistently brought up, was like the step-by-step improvements and the progress from ENCE. A second international win from them. Epicenter made a question mark after their victory in Ukraine. And that question mark maybe turned to an exclamation point, because this one is sent with a message. A potential 16-5 victory. Bravado holding on for dear life. But it's not a fast one from ENCE. They're letting Bravado stew in the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if it's going to be some kind of B fake in a hall spot, or if they're just going to go back into mid control. It looks like they're postured up to do something kind of creative, but the smoke will push things back 15 seconds. Alu's actually working his way back. Majority of players at B, but the bomb is not here. Overselling it could be a problem too if they lose too many players. Sonic here could get flashed off in an instant. And I don't know why JT's just potentially just playing anti-flash. Doesn't have a teammate to come in and flash him through from CT, and Sonic is for sure going to stay on the AWP. But they've now receded into the positions that they wanted to go into. Time is down to 25 seconds. Bomb has still been waiting here patiently in the halls. Uh-oh. Footsteps being made, and that's it. They capitalize, jump onto the site, pouncing.
And then lunging right into the depths of it. They've got that close player towards Arch and Alexi, so he's ready to just screw over the entirety of the rotation. Not to mention a smoke slows it all down. Spam announcing the presence. And it's a 4 versus 2 for ENCE to close on. Like we said, round, map, and championship point. A miraculous run from Bravado that's not just quite over, but you know it's sinking in. Bomb 3/4 of the way gone. Alu confirming the push upwards. He knows that Sonic's here. It's the last man down, and ENCE will take it. Your DreamHack Winter Champions. And what a message here in the second map of the series, Launders. They shut it all down 2-0.
Yeah, and as good as Bravado were, it was absolutely clinical. This is the kind of map you need to end on. They've got to play extremely well versus a team of Bravado's caliber, and maybe the next time they make an appearance in the final, they can have more of an expectation to do extremely well. They could be more prepared, more than surprised potentially. And yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, this is a team that definitely emerges about halfway through the year. We start seeing them in these international endeavors. Montreal, their first DreamHack Open showing as an invitee, and they performed well enough. Again, that final showing. This victory, however, at the very last Open of the year, I think this cements them in our mind. A justified invitation for 2019. It's just around the corner for this team. Say it with me, folks. It's easy for ENCE.
Northern lights flash in the sky, a blizzard blows, pelting on its way, those too weak to withstand the fury of winter at its fullest. From the permafrost strikes the massive hand, the mythical giant, once deemed dead off the coast of Italy, now rises to life, regenerated from lapis soil. The time is due, and around the world the word spreads. And in Sweden, the best cower in fear and lock themselves in the nearest IKEA retail store. The Brazilians run to safety, and the Danes play dead in Legoland. The Slavs sprint crying to their babushkas in warm embrace. And as we carry on, they say a man may leave Finland, but Finland never leaves the man. And today we have finished the DreamHack Open with the Finns taking and hoisting the trophy above the crowd here. The champions of the last stop of the DreamHack Open are ENCE Esport, the professional multi-gaming esports organization from Finland.
How on earth are we supposed to follow that one up, Trace?
Sorry. Wow. What do you guys have to say about that? Because ultimately, they made it look easy. I'll just say it one more time.
It was easy, hashtag for ENCE.
It was easy. I mean, there's no doubt that they were the better team in this game. They pretty much dominated in every different aspect of the game, individually, team playing wise. You saw the last round. I think that was a perfect example of what ENCE were doing so good. You know, they played down the clock, they played composed, they played calm, they played collective. They said the word a lot of times, and they were able to mess with the rotations of the Bravado guys and just playing into their mind, playing their own game and making sure they always were on their back heels. And that's the feeling I'm sitting back with here. Bravado, a team that did well so far, that did well coming into the final, but when it really